kitchen. We all got tables.
We got tables.
All God's children got tables.
Tables. I always do this. I have to step around the camera. You know, the light is not good. That's the problem. It's too dark. It's light, but it's too far. This is Elevated IPA Cumbre. Get elevated. New Mexican beers at their peak. What we are doing here is Chris from Texas, who sent a super yummy big IPA that we drank in his backyard. There's a video on that.
Proof, video evidence.
Experience. He sent me 3 or 4 different beers, including a commercial example, which I just held up, and then he sent his home brews. And this particular one is a homebrew that he made along with the commercial version. He said, I experienced this beer several years ago in Santa Fe, New Mexico. In research, I came across a recipe that came from the brewmaster himself. I've brewed it several times. I think this is close. Attached is the recipe. And he sent the commercial one for comparison. His beer and this version of La Cumbre were bottled and canned around the same date. So, convenient for comparison reasons. The recipe is, these are the hops. Like a lot of hops. OG 1066, FG 1017, 6.5%. The commercial is 7.2%. Calculated IBU is 136. On the can, they have 100. Hops such as Warrior, Hercules, Chinook, Northern Brew, Amarillo, Simcoe, Mosaic, Nelson Sauvin, and don't forget Citra. So, I mean, good Lord, with the hops. A lot of hops. And if you look at them, they are, you know, I've done a lot of these things where you make a clone recipe and then you compare it to the commercial example. This is, you know, this is about as close as you get, really. Yeah. I mean, this one.
I feel like his is just slightly lighter.
Less orangey.
They're starting to get into that like ambery orange.
They're really
like yellow orange.
Really close. I get a slight kind of, not in a bad way, but like a slight oxidation note on the commercial one.
The best by date is about a month from now, which would lead me to believe they canned it 2 or 3 months ago.
Well, his was made on July 26th, and here we are, September.
Yeah.
So that's 2 months, if my math is correct.
So for a hobby IPA, you know, it could happen.
Yeah. His is also fairly bitter. There's a lingering bitterness, which is just to say that the commercial one is also pretty bitter. I mean, 100 IBUs. I know we can talk about the calculations all day long, but when you drink it, has a bitter impression.
They are really close. I feel like the pro one just has this crispness to it. Or this kind of elevated,
a little harsh, crisp edge.
I wouldn't call it crisp. I just think it's almost like more defined. It pops a little more, whereas his version is just, it's got a lot of those same flavors. It's just not quite as boxed in.
I've had that same result though.
And I'm sure that's from fermentation. That's from packaging. I mean, there's all kinds of
brewing.
things.
Yeah, on a homebrew scale of 5 to 10 gallons in your system and. Water treatment. Like I think he does have the details on the water treatment. I'm not really great with interpreting that kind of stuff, but yeah, gypsum, calcium chloride,
Paul Fowler stuff,
things like that.
No, I don't play
nerd. No, I'm not. You know, come on. I mean, smarter people than me is what I actually mean by that. What do you say?
I was just gonna say, going back and forth.
They're pretty similar.
Yeah, they're really close.
I mean, this is a pretty cool example of if there's a commercial beer that you like and you have you're a homebrewer with some level of capability that you can potentially make something pretty close. You might even like it better. I've done some kind of things like that where just in the moment I like my version of whatever better than the commercial one that's in front of me. It might be fresher is a possibility.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Either way, we're drinking almost 7% beer.
Like it's water. I know. Pace yourself.
Oh, we gotta figure out.
You heard of treat yourself?
Treat yourself.
Pace yourself. Treat yourself to some water.
Yeah, I like both of these.
They are similar. I come back to the bitterness. There's a lot of bitterness. I wonder what kind of style you would say this is. LPA. A new style. LPA. Latitude Pale Ale. Luscious Pale Ale.
Loving that Pale Ale.
What I was gonna say is, it's not like, it's almost like a bigger, thicker West Coast, just with how much bitterness is there. But it's New Mexico, yo. New Mexico. NMPA.
It's a New Mexico IPA.
Oh, snap. I like it.
I went there.
Alright, so I don't know if we're going to do them tonight with Chip. I have 2 more Chris homebrews. We will see. This is like the 4th and 5th beers of the night, and we still have some more to go, so.
I ain't scared.
What'd you call him? Yo, you ain't scared. I think he said, thanks, Garrett.
Thanks, Garrett.
Chris, your name is Garrett.
Chris. What?
Alright. Rockin'. We have a couple more beers from viewer and friend Chris in Texas. You will have seen Chip and I drink his Elevated IPA clone and the commercial one. I have 2 more. I have an APA and a New England IPA. So let's try the APA here. These are keg conditioned and then filled into these swing tops. One thing I'm not sure is if he uses like a counter pressure filler or something like that. That is a nice, beautiful, clear beer. Let me get my notes on this one. This is his 100th batch. The first beer he made was a 1-gallon kit that he did in late 2013. So for his 100th batch, he thought he would commemorate that beer. This beer has 2-row Carapils, Carahel, has Pearl Hop, 60-minute, 15-minute edition of Cascade, USO 5, 8.5 ABV. That is a heck of a pale ale. I don't have the gravities on here, but that is a heck of a gravity for a pale ale. I dare say you could call that an India pale ale or double. I'm not getting a ton of aroma. If the last hop was a 15-minute edition of Cascade, then that could make sense. It's pretty light and color. It just has the 2-row, the Carapils, the Carahel. I suppose, the Carahel maybe is the darkest of those? I don't know. It's pretty light, which is fine. It tastes good. It does not taste like a few things. It does not taste particularly bitter. Doesn't taste particularly hoppy. It also does not taste like 8.5%, if that is correct. That really just kind of blows me away that you would have a pale ale of that strength. But one of the first things I always look for is it a cleanly made beer, and does it taste like it's well made? It's really nice. I would almost guess it was something like a Maibach. I'm starting to get a little bit of the strength of it, but it's more of a clean malt flavor than a hop flavor. It's not hitting me right now like a pale ale. So, Chris, you can reply to me about that. See what you think about that. Maybe it was hoppier earlier. I do see you have, now I'm just noticing, April 2018, we are now in mid to late September, and that was mid-April, so that would be 5 months if my math checks out, and that would be a while for a beer to maintain a strong hop character. However, it still is a nice drinking beer. I don't know if I said this is Sheung Kuti, Fela Kuti's son, who does fantastic music in his own right. And SEUNKUTI, check it out. So this is 2 for 2 so far with the Elevated clone. Let's try the New England IPA. Alright, we're flying fast and loose here. You know that's how we do it up in the program. This one, he said, is a New England IPA, and I can see it on the bottom. He said it was, I'm gonna go like this. It was bottled, it was in the keg, and it was cloudy on purpose. And he said that then he filled these bottles at that time, so it would have the sediment in the bottles. Hopefully I won't get a beer shower here, but let's see what it looks like, tastes like, smells like. She cloudy, but that's what you would expect if you get all the sediment in there. It's there's probably a difference between a New England IPA as it's normally designed and made, and also a beer that just has sediment that you kind of stir up and get into suspension. I'm not sure where this would fall, but let me get a smell. Now, the other one that I just drank did not have much of a hop aroma, but he didn't try to, based on what I saw on the notes. This one has copious amounts of dry hopping, and we can get into that in a second. But I do get some hop aroma on this one. Now that has some hop flavor. The one I just had tasted more like a Maibach to me. This one definitely tastes more like a IPA, or dare I say it, New England IPA. Decent amount of bitterness. Kind of soft, like the style normally calls for. A little bit of an edge though, a little bit of a hop bitter edge. But not too much. I think if you remember the Elevated Cumbre one, I think I thought it was a little bit on the bitter side. His is calculated 130 IBUs, the commercial 100 IBUs. This is definitely not that bitter. So this one, he used Pearl Malt and Crisp Maris Otter Malt, not two-row. He said he used some hops that were getting old, but he needed to use them. He forgot why he bought them. He also used distilled water, and he treated it a little bit to get it to be more in a profile that he wanted. He has flaked oats, flaked barley, turbinado, sugar, bittering hop Pacific Jade, Whirlpool, Amarillo, Simcoe, Cascade, Hallertau, Mittelfrucht. That was the one that he said was getting old. 19-day dry hop at High Croizen, Amarillo, Nelson Sauvin, Mosaic, Simcoe, the Hallertau. 5-day dry hop. Same thing, plus Chinook. The Conan yeast, 8.25 ABV. Closely watched fermentation temperatures. Brew 104. He sent 2 of these, like he sent 2 of this previous one that Chip and I drank in Chip's backyard. And actually, we drank the second one off camera. Chris, I should tell you, it was tasting delicious. We drank it the night where we drank the Elevated Cumbre that you made. It was still tasting very good. We really enjoyed it. We actually liked it a little more than the Cumbre clone that you had sent, that we drank that night. With this beer, I mean, it looks like a New England IPA. It's got the soft, off-white, yellowish, orangish color. It has the hop aroma. I like this one. This one is, out of the three that you sent this time, this is definitely my favorite. It's got the most flavor, the best balance, most character, and yeah, it's my favorite out of the three. Thank you for sending these. I don't know how interesting these videos are for any of y'all, but I got the country shirt on. We got the Afro beat. So what do you want? You know what I'm saying? Thanks for watching. Catch you later.